The book of Deuteronomy finds the Israelites at a pivotal moment in their history. They have wandered the desert for 40 years, a generation that has seen both hardship and divine provision. They stand on the edge of the promised land, poised to inherit the blessings promised to their ancestors. The land flowing with milk and honey is within their sight, a tangible reminder of God's faithfulness. It is in this context, in chapter 29, that Moses gathers the people together. He stands before them, a leader who has guided them through trials and triumphs. He is nearing the end of his life, and he knows this will be his final opportunity to address them. His voice carries the weight of years and the urgency of a final message. He aims to renew the covenant God made with them at Mount Sinai. This covenant is the foundation of their identity, a sacred agreement that defines their relationship with the divine. This is not just a restatement of past agreements, but a powerful call to remember, obey, and pass on their faith to future generations. Moses emphasizes the importance of teaching their children and grandchildren the ways of the Lord. This gathering is not merely a ceremonial formality, it is a moment of profound significance, a collective reaffirmation of their commitment to God. It is a solemn assembly, a time for reflection and commitment. The people stand together, united in their purpose and their faith. Moses reminds the Israelites of their shared history, their deliverance from slavery in Egypt, and their journey through the wilderness. He speaks of the plagues, the parting of the Red Sea, and the manna from heaven. He recounts the miraculous ways in which God has provided for them, protected them, and guided them every step of the way. Each miracle is a testament to God's unwavering presence and power. As Moses speaks, the people listen with rapt attention, their hearts stirred by the memories and the promises. They are reminded of their identity as God's chosen people and the responsibilities that come with it. The covenant renewal is a call to action, a reminder that their journey is far from over. They must continue to walk in faith, to trust in God's promises, and to live according to His commandments. With renewed determination, the Israelites prepare to enter the promised land. They are ready to embrace the future, fortified by the covenant and the words of their leader, Moses. As the sun sets over the horizon, the promised land awaits them, a new chapter in their journey filled with hope, faith, and the enduring promise of God's covenant. Moses, with a heavy heart but a spirit full of hope, reminds the people of their difficult journey. He stands before them, his voice carrying the weight of their shared experiences, the trials and tribulations that have shaped them into who they are today. They had endured hardship, hunger, and thirst. The barren desert had tested their limits, pushing them to the brink of despair. Yet they had persevered, finding strength in their unity and faith. They had faced enemies and overcome obstacles. From hostile tribes to the harsh elements of the desert, every challenge had been a test of their resilience and determination. Each victory had been hard-won, a testament to their courage and God's unwavering support. Yet, through it all, God had been faithful. In their darkest moments, when hope seemed lost, His presence had been a beacon of light, guiding them forward. He had provided manna from heaven to eat and water from rocks to drink. These miracles had sustained them, reminding them that they were never alone, that divine providence was always at hand. He had led them with a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. These symbols of divine guidance had been their constant companions, leading them through the wilderness, ensuring they never lost their way. He reminds them of the golden calf incident, a stark reminder of their capacity for disobedience and the grave consequences that followed. This moment of weakness had been a turning point, a lesson in the importance of faithfulness and the dangers of straying from the path. He recounts the victories and defeats, the times of faithfulness and rebellion, all painting a vivid tapestry of their shared history as a people chosen by God. Each story, each memory, is a thread in the rich fabric of their collective identity, a testament to their enduring spirit and the divine promise that binds them together. The covenant God made with Israel was not a one-sided agreement. It was a partnership based on love and commitment. God promised to bless and protect them, to give them a land flowing with milk and honey. In return, the Israelites were to love and obey God with all their hearts, souls, and minds. This obedience involved keeping God's commandments, worshipping Him alone, and living lives of righteousness and justice. It meant turning away from the idolatry and immorality of the nations around them and living as a people set apart for God's glory. Moses, with a powerful voice that echoed across the assembly, spoke of the blessings that awaited the Israelites if they remained faithful to the covenant. Obedience would bring prosperity, security, and peace. Their crops would flourish, their flocks would multiply, and their enemies would be defeated. Their nation would be strong, their families would thrive, and they would enjoy God's favor and blessing in all that they did. Moses paints a picture of a bright future, a future filled with hope and promise, a future where God's presence would dwell among his people. Section 5. The dangers of idolatry. However, Moses also warns the Israelites of the dangers of turning away from God. He knew that the allure of idolatry would be strong, especially once they were settled in the Promised Land. The surrounding nations worshipped other gods, and there was a real danger that the Israelites would be tempted to do the same. Moses warns them that worshipping false gods would lead to spiritual blindness, moral decay, and ultimately to God's judgment. He reminds them that the gods of the nations are nothing but idols, powerless and empty. They offer no true life, no salvation, no hope. Section 6. Consequences of disobedience. Moses does not shy away from describing the consequences of disobedience. He speaks of curses that will befall the Israelites if they turn away from the covenant. Drought, famine, disease, and defeat in battle will plague them. Their land will become barren. Their cities will be destroyed, and they will be scattered among the nations. Moses' words are not meant to frighten, but to warn, to impress upon the people the seriousness of their commitment to God. He wants them to understand that their choices have consequences, both for themselves and for generations to come. And Section 7. A covenant for generations. Moses emphasizes that this covenant is not just for them, the generation that came out of Egypt. It is a timeless agreement, a sacred promise that transcends the boundaries of time and space. It is also for their children and their children's children, for all generations to come. This covenant is a living testament, a bridge that connects the past with the future, ensuring that the teachings and values are preserved and honored. They have a responsibility to teach their children about God's laws, to pass down the wisdom and knowledge that has been entrusted to them. This is not merely a duty, but a sacred obligation that binds each generation to the next. To tell them about his mighty acts, the miracles and wonders that have shaped their history and identity. These stories are the foundation of their faith, the pillars that support their community and their relationship with God, and to instill in them a love for him. This love is the core of their existence, the driving force that guides their actions and decisions. It is a love that is nurtured through prayer, worship, and the daily practice of their faith. This covenant is to be passed down from one generation to the next, a sacred inheritance that will bind them together as God's chosen people. It is a legacy of faith, hope, and love that must be cherished and protected, a sacred inheritance that will bind them together as God's chosen people. They are to live as a community of faith, united by their shared beliefs and values. They are to live as a community of faith, supporting and uplifting one another in their spiritual journey. This sense of community is essential as it provides strength and encouragement in times of trial and tribulation. A beacon of light in a dark world, their faith and commitment to God's covenant serve as a guiding light, illuminating the path for others to follow. They are called to be examples of righteousness, compassion, and unwavering faith in a world that often seems lost and uncertain. Section 8. The weight of choice. Moses places before the Israelites a stark choice, life or death, blessing or cursing. He urges them to choose life, to choose obedience, to choose God. He reminds them that this choice is not just about outward rituals or religious ceremonies, it is about the posture of their hearts. True obedience, he stresses, flows from a heart of love for God. It is a love that transforms their thoughts, their words, and their actions. It is a love that shapes their lives and the lives of their children. Section 9. A call to commitment. As Moses concludes his address, he issues a powerful call to commitment. He calls upon heaven and earth to witness the covenant being renewed. He wants the Israelites to understand the solemnity of the moment, the weight of their decision. This is not a time for half-hearted pledges or empty promises. It is a time for wholehearted surrender to God, a time to embrace the covenant with all that they are. He calls upon them to make a covenant, not just with words, but with their lives. Section 10. The enduring legacy. Deuteronomy 29 stands as a powerful reminder of the enduring nature of God's covenant with his people. Though given thousands of years ago in a specific historical context, its message transcends time and place. It speaks to the importance of remembering God's faithfulness, obeying his commands, and passing on the faith to future generations. This covenant, with its blessings and warnings, continues to challenge and inspire us today. It calls us to examine our own hearts, to renew our commitment to God, and to live as a people set apart for his glory. Section 11, Conclusion, a covenant for all time. Deuteronomy 29 is more than just a historical record of a covenant renewal ceremony. It is a timeless message of hope, warning, and challenge. The covenant God made with Israel was not just for them, but for all who would choose to follow him. It is a covenant of love, grace, and faithfulness, a covenant that offers life and blessing to all who embrace it. As we reflect on the words of Moses, may we be inspired to renew our own commitment to God and to live each day in the light of his covenant love.